Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of Space Station New Geneva, watching Earth turn slowly below him. The blue and green planet looked peaceful in the morning light. He had served in space for 20 years, but Earth still took his breath away. Captain Lisa Hayes ran toward him, her face pale with worry. She held a data pad in her shaking hands. "Sir, we have a problem," she said. "A big one." Jake turned to look at her. Lisa was one of the best communication officers in the fleet. She never got scared easily. If she was worried, something was very wrong. "What is it, Captain?" Jake asked. "We just received a message from outside the solar system. It's from aliens, sir. A whole fleet of them." Jake felt his heart skip a beat. Humans had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Today, they got their answer. "Show me," he said. Lisa pressed a button on her pad. The main screen on the bridge lit up. Jake saw hundreds of massive ships floating in the darkness of space. Each ship was huge, bigger than anything humans had ever built. They looked like floating cities made of dark metal. "How many?" Jake asked. 300 ships, sir. They appeared at the edge of our solar system an hour ago. They sent this message." The screen changed. An alien face appeared. The creature had gray skin, 4 eyes, and a mouth full of sharp teeth. When it spoke, its voice was cold and emotionless. "I am Supreme Chancellor Vextar of the hegemony of Keth. We speak to the beings of this system. You will listen and obey." Jake felt anger rise in his chest. He did not like the alien's tone. The alien continued. "For 3,000 years, the hegemony has brought order to this part of the galaxy. We have conquered over 200 worlds. Now we come to you. We demand tribute from your species. Every year, you will give us 1 million of your people to work as our servants. You will also give us 10% of everything you make. In return, we will let you live under our protection." Jake's hands turned into fists. The alien was talking about taking humans as slaves. "You have 72 hours to agree to our terms. If you refuse, we will destroy your world completely. No one has ever said no to the hegemony. Do not be the first." The message ended. The bridge was quiet for a long moment. "Sir?" Lisa asked. "What do we do?" Jake looked at the alien ships on the screen. They were powerful, that was clear. But humans had never backed down from a fight, especially when their freedom was at stake. "Get me President Clark on Earth," Jake said, "and contact every ship in the fleet. This is going to be the most important day in human history." 2 hours later, Jake stood in the council chamber on Earth. Leaders from every nation and colony had gathered. The room was full of worried voices and angry faces. President Kevin Clark stood at the front of the room. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. The weight of the world was on his shoulders. "We all know why we're here," President Clark said. "The aliens want 1 million humans every year. They want us to become their slaves. The question is simple. Do we fight or do we surrender?" Senator Maria Gonzalez from Mars stood up. She was young but fierce, and her voice carried across the room. "My family came to Mars because we believed in human freedom," she said. "We left Earth to build something better. We did not come this far to kneel before alien masters." Many people in the room nodded and spoke in agreement. Dr. Elena Rodriguez raised her hand. She was Earth's best scientist who studied alien life. Everyone respected her opinion. "I have looked at their ships and technology," she said. "They are strong, but not impossible to beat. Their weapons are powerful, but their ships are built to scare people, not for long fights. Most species probably gave up as soon as they saw the fleet." "Are you saying we can win?" President Clark asked. "I'm saying we have a chance," Dr. Rodriguez replied. "But only if we're smart about it." General Patricia White stood up next. She was the head of Earth's military forces. Her voice was calm but strong. I have been preparing our forces since the message came, she said. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier is ready. We may not have as many ships as them, but we have something they don't expect. What's that? Someone asked. We have the will to fight for our freedom, General White said. We have never been slaves, and we never will be. The debate continued for hours, but Jake could see the mood in the room. Humans were not going to surrender. They would fight. Finally, President Clark called for a vote. All in favor of rejecting the alien demands? Every hand in the room went up. The vote was unanimous. Then it's decided, President Clark said. We fight. Admiral Morrison was given command of all human forces. Dr. Rodriguez would work on finding ways to fight alien technology. General White would prepare Earth's defenses. Ambassador John Parker was chosen to send the reply to the aliens. His message was short and clear. To the hegemony of Keth, humanity does not kneel. We suggest you leave our system immediately. The next 3 days were the busiest in human history. Every factory worked day and night to build weapons and ships. Every person with military training reported for duty. The entire solar system became one giant military base. Dr. Rodriguez worked with her team around the clock. Dr. Alan Cooper, the best physicist on Earth, helped her study the alien ships. Commander Nick Taylor, a brilliant engineer, worked on new weapons. They discovered something important. The alien ships had powerful shields, but they worked in a pattern. If humans could time their attacks just right, they might be able to break through. On the third day, Jake stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, humanity's newest and strongest warship. Around him floated the largest human fleet ever assembled. 200 ships, from massive battleships to small fighters, all crewed by people ready to die for their freedom. The alien fleet was moving closer to Earth. Chancellor Vexstar sent one final message. Your time is up, humans. Surrender now or face destruction. Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, but they were ready. He opened a channel to broadcast his reply to both fleets. Chancellor Vexstar, you came to our home and demanded our children as slaves. You have made the biggest mistake in your species' history. This is not tribute. This is war. Jake closed the channel and turned to his crew. All ships, prepare for battle. Today we show the galaxy that humans bow to no one. The war for humanity's freedom was about to begin. General Zixenal stood on the bridge of his flagship and laughed. He was the military commander of the Hegemony fleet, and he had destroyed many worlds before. These humans would be no different. Deploy 200 ships, he told his officers. Leave 100 in reserve. This should not take long. The alien ships moved toward Jupiter like a dark cloud, their weapons charged with deadly energy. General Zixenal expected the humans to run away when they saw his power. Commander Ryan Phillips waited with the human fleet near Jupiter. His heart was beating fast, but his hands were steady on the controls. Around him, 50 human ships prepared for the fight of their lives. All ships, this is Commander Phillips, he said into his radio. Remember what Dr. Rodriguez taught us. Wait for the shield frequency to cycle, then fire everything we have. The alien ships came closer. They were huge and scary, but Ryan had fought bigger enemies than fear. He had fought doubt and despair his whole life growing up poor on Earth. Today, he would fight for something bigger than himself. Enemy ships in range, called his weapons officer. Hold steady, Ryan said. Wait for it. The aliens fired first. Bright beams of energy lit up space like lightning. 3 human ships exploded in balls of fire. Ryan felt sick watching good people die, but he could not let fear control him. Shield cycling now, his science officer called out. All ships attack. Ryan shouted. The human fleet opened fire. Instead of energy weapons, they used railguns and missiles. Chunks of metal flew through space faster than bullets. The alien shields flickered and failed. One alien ship exploded, then another. General Zixnal could not believe what he was seeing. How are they getting through our shields? He demanded. His science officer looked confused. Sir, they are using primitive kinetic weapons. Our shields are designed to stop energy beams, not metal projectiles. Then adjust the shields. It will take time, sir. Time was something General Zixnal did not have. The humans were moving fast, hitting his ships from different directions. They did not fight like other species. Most aliens lined up their ships and fought in neat formations. These humans scattered like insects, attacking from everywhere at once. Captain Troy Adams commanded the destroyer use Resilience. He was a farmer's son who had joined the Space Navy to see the galaxy. Now he was fighting for the galaxy's freedom. His ship was smaller than the alien vessels, but it was fast and hard to hit. Troy brought his ship close to an alien cruiser, so close that his crew could see the alien faces through the windows. Fire all railguns at their engine section, Troy ordered. The metal slugs punched through the alien ship's hull like paper. The engine exploded, sending the massive ship spinning out of control. First kill goes to the Use Resilience. Troy called out on the radio. His crew cheered, but they did not celebrate for long. There were still many enemy ships left. The battle raged for 18 hours. Human ships darted between the larger alien vessels like angry bees around a bear. When the aliens tried to catch them, the humans would disappear into the asteroid belt. Around Jupiter. Captain Bruce Martinez led a group of stealth fighters. His ships were painted black and designed to be invisible to sensors. He brought his squadron behind the alien fleet while they were busy chasing other human ships. Target their command ship, Bruce told his pilots. If we can hurt their leaders, maybe the rest will think twice about this fight. The stealth fighters attacked the alien command ship from behind. Their missiles hit the ship's bridge before the aliens knew they were there. The command ship's lights went out, and it drifted helpless in space. General Zixnal watched his fleet take damage and felt something he had never felt before: doubt. In 3,000 years, no species had fought back like this. Most worlds surrendered when they saw the hegemony fleet. The few that fought were crushed quickly. But these humans were different. They were willing to die rather than surrender. They fought with tricks and tactics he had never seen before. Worst of all, they were hurting his ships. Sir, his communications officer called out. The humans are sending a message. Put it on screen, Zixnal growled. Commander Ryan Phillips appeared on the screen. His uniform was torn and there was blood on his face, but his eyes were hard as steel. General Zixnal, Ryan said, you came here thinking we would be easy prey. You thought wrong. This is just the beginning. Leave now, or we will destroy every ship you have. Zixnal felt rage fill his chest. You dare threaten me? I will turn your world into ash. Ryan smiled, and it was not a friendly smile. You can try. But remember, we know where you come from now. If you hurt our world, we will find yours. The message ended. General Zixnal stared at the screen in shock. No one had ever threatened the hegemony before. Sir, his tactical officer said quietly, we have lost 23 ships. The humans have lost 37, but they are still fighting. Our remaining ships are taking heavy damage. Zixnal looked at the battle display. The human ships kept coming, no matter how many were destroyed. It was like fighting a storm or a wildfire. You could not reason with it or frighten it. It would fight until it won, or until there was nothing left. Pull back, he ordered. We retreat to regroup. His officers looked shocked. The hegemony never retreated. Sir? His second-in-command asked. You heard me. Signal all ships to withdraw beyond the asteroid belt. We need to rethink our strategy. As the alien ships pulled back, the human fleet did not chase them. They were too smart for that. Instead, they took positions near Mars and waited out on Earth. Dr. Alan Cooper worked with his team in an underground laboratory. They had pieces of alien technology from the destroyed ships. Engineer Sarah Kim helped him take apart alien computers and weapons. "Look at this," Dr. Cooper said, pointing to an alien device. "Their technology is more advanced than ours, but it's also more complicated. They rely too much on their computers to think for them." "What does that mean?" Sarah asked. "It means they are not used to fighting enemies who adapt quickly. They build their weapons to work in one way, against enemies who fight in predictable patterns. But humans don't fight like other species." Lieutenant Danny Foster, a computer expert, was working on an alien communication device. "I'm getting signals from their fleet," he said. "They're confused and scared. Some of their captains are asking why the humans won't surrender." Dr. Cooper smiled. "Because they don't understand what they're fighting. They think we're just another species they can bully into submission. They don't realize that humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We know every dirty trick in the book." Back in space, Admiral Morrison called his ship captains together for a meeting. The holographic images of dozens of officers appeared on his bridge. "The first battle is over," Morrison said. "We hurt them, but they'll be back with more ships and better plans. Dr. Rodriguez thinks they will try to adjust their shields to stop our kinetic weapons. What do we do then?" asked Captain Troy Adams. "We adapt faster than they do," Morrison replied. "Dr. Cooper's team is working on new weapons that combine our technology with theirs. By the time they figure out how to stop our railguns, we'll have something else ready." Commander Kate Wilson, an engineer on one of the research ships, spoke up. "Sir, I've been looking at their ship designs. They're built for intimidation, not for real war. Big, slow, and impressive looking, but not very maneuverable." "Good observation," Morrison said. "That tells us something important about how they fight. They're used to enemies who see their big ships and give up immediately. They're not prepared for a long, hard fight." Captain Bruce Martinez raised his hand. "Admiral, my stealth fighters got close enough to their ships to record their communications. They're sending messages back to their home worlds. Word is spreading that humans are fighting back." Morrison nodded. "That might work in our favor. If other species hear that the hegemony can be hurt, some of them might start getting ideas about their own freedom." The meeting ended with plans for the next battle. The humans knew the aliens would attack Mars next. It was the obvious target, and the hegemony was not known for creative thinking. As the human fleet prepared for the second battle, messages came in from around the solar system. Every human colony wanted to help. Miners on the asteroids offered to build weapons. Farmers on the outer planets sent food and supplies. Children on Earth drew pictures of human ships beating alien ships and sent them to the fleet. Commander Ryan Phillips looked at one of these drawings in his quarters. It showed a small human ship chasing a big alien ship away from Earth. The child had written, "Thank you for protecting us," at the bottom. Ryan folded the drawing carefully and put it in his pocket. Tomorrow there would be another battle, and more good people would die. But they were not fighting for politicians or territory or resources. They were fighting for the right of every human to be free. In the darkness of space, both fleets prepared for the next round of the war that would decide the fate of humanity. 6 months had passed since the first battle at Jupiter. The war was now spread across many star systems. General Zixino had called for more ships from the Hegemony Empire. His fleet now had 800 warships, but he was no longer confident about winning. The humans had changed everything. They built new space stations around their solar system that could repair damaged ships and build new weapons. These stations used both human and alien technology stolen from destroyed enemy ships. Colonel Amy Johnson, now promoted to general, stood on the command deck of Defense Station Alpha near Saturn. Through the large windows, she could see human ships coming and going like busy ants. Workers floated in spacesuits, building new weapons and armor for the fleet. General Johnson called Lieutenant Ross Baker, her communications officer. "We're getting a message from Captain Troy Adams on the U's Vengeance." Amy smiled. The UES Vengeance was humanity's first ship built completely with the new hybrid technology. It could match any alien ship in both weapons and defense. "Put him through," Amy said. Captain Troy Adams appeared on the screen. Behind him, Amy could see his bridge crew working at stations that looked like a mixture of human and alien designs. "General, we just finished our test run," Troy reported. "The new hybrid engines work perfectly. We can now move as fast as their ships, maybe faster." "Excellent news, Captain. How are the weapons?" "Even better. Our new energy cannons can punch through their shields, and our improved railguns can penetrate their armor. We're finally fighting on equal terms." Amy nodded with satisfaction. Dr. Rodriguez and her team had worked day and night to make this possible. They had taken apart every piece of alien technology they could find and figured out how to make it work with human designs. "There's more good news," Troy continued. "Dr. Rodriguez made contact with some aliens who don't like the hegemony. They call themselves the Zelani Confederation. They want to be our allies." This was the best news Amy had heard in months. Humans were brave and clever, but they were still just one species fighting an empire of 12 different alien races. Having allies would change everything. "Where is Dr. Rodriguez now?" Amy asked. "She's meeting with their ambassador on Titan Station. Ambassador Janet Gray is helping with the negotiations." Amy felt hope growing in her chest. If they could get other aliens to help fight the hegemony, they might actually win this war. On Titan Station, Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat across from Ambassador Krelder of the Zelani Confederation. The alien looked like a tall blue insect with 4 arms and large, intelligent eyes. Despite his strange appearance, Rodriguez found him easy to talk to. "Your species has done something remarkable," Krelder said in perfect English. "For 2 centuries, we have fought to keep the hegemony from conquering our worlds. We thought we were alone in our resistance." Ambassador Janet Gray, a skilled diplomat, who had spent years learning alien languages, leaned forward. "The hegemony has ruled through fear for too long. Our species believe that all people should be free to choose their own path." "We agree," Krelder replied. "The Zelani have watched your battles with great interest. Your tactics are unlike anything we have seen. You fight with creativity and courage." Dr. Rodriguez pulled up a star map on her computer. "If we work together, we can attack the hegemony from 2 sides. They won't be able to defend everywhere at once." "Our fleets are ready," Krelder said. "But we must warn you, the hegemony is not as united as they appear. The 12 species that make up their empire do not all trust each other. Some joined because they were forced to. Others joined for power and wealth." Janet Gray's eyes lit up. "Are you saying some of them might switch sides?" "Perhaps. If they see that the hegemony can be defeated, some might choose freedom over fear." The first joint human-Zelani mission happened 3 weeks later. Commander Ryan Phillips led 20 human ships to meet 30 Zelani vessels at a place called the Kepler System. There, the hegemony had built a huge supply base that fed their war effort. Ryan looked at the alien ships flying beside his own and felt amazed. Just 1 year ago, humans thought they were alone in the universe. Now they were fighting alongside aliens for the freedom of the galaxy. "This is Commander Phillips to all ships," he said over the radio. Human and Zelani forces, we go in together. Remember, we're not just fighting for our own worlds anymore. We're fighting for everyone who wants to be free. The attack on the supply base was a complete success. The hegemony defenders were not ready for the combined human-Zelani assault. Human ships used their speed and clever tactics, while Zelani ships used powerful energy weapons that could slice through armor like paper dot. In just 4 hours, the entire base was destroyed. More importantly, they captured computers full of information about hegemony fleet movements and secret plans. Back on Earth, engineer Sarah Kim worked in a laboratory deep underground. She had been given the job of improving human spaceship engines. By combining human fusion technology with alien gravity control systems, she had created something incredible. Dr. Cooper, come look at this, she called to her colleague. Dr. Alan Cooper hurried over to her workstation. On the screen, he could see the test results from Sarah's new engine design. This is impossible, he said, staring at the numbers. According to this, ships with your new engines can travel 3 times faster than anything the hegemony has. Sarah grinned. It's possible because we're thinking differently than they do. They build their technology to be powerful and impressive. We build ours to work better. The new engines were quickly installed on key human ships. This gave the human fleet a huge advantage. They could now attack hegemony positions and escape before the aliens could respond. Captain Bruce Martinez used this advantage in a daring raid on a hegemony communication center. His stealth ships jumped in, destroyed the target, and jumped out before the alien defenders knew what hit them. But the most important discovery came from the captured hegemony computers. Intelligence Officer Lieutenant Monica Clark spent days reading through alien messages and reports. Admiral Morrison, she called excitedly, you need to see this. Admiral Morrison looked at her screen. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? These are internal communications between the different species in the hegemony. Sir, they don't trust each other at all. The Keth species thinks the Vorn species is trying to take over. The Vorn think the Zil are planning to rebel. Everyone is suspicious of everyone else. Morrison smiled for the first time in months. Are you telling me that their empire is held together by fear and greed instead of loyalty? Yes, sir. And there's more. 3 of the species are already talking about what to do if the hegemony loses this war. They're more afraid of being punished by their own allies than they are of us. This intelligence changed everything. General Patricia White developed a new strategy based on what they learned. Instead of attacking the hegemony as one big enemy, human forces would target specific species and try to turn them against each other. The plan worked better than anyone hoped. When human forces attacked a Keth military base, but left nearby Vorn facilities untouched, the Keth started to suspect the Vorn of making secret deals with humans. The biggest test of the new strategy came in the Vega system. General Zixino decided to make one final push to crush human resistance. He brought 400 ships for what he hoped would be the last battle of the war. Captain Kate Wilson commanded the heavy cruiser U.E.'s Retribution in that battle. She had started the war as an engineer, but her skill at combining human and alien technology made her a valuable ship captain. The Battle of Vega lasted 4 days. It was the largest space battle in galactic history. Both sides fought with everything they had. Human ships used new tactics that confused and frustrated the alien commanders. Kate Wilson's most clever idea was to convert civilian cargo ships into drone carriers. These ships could launch hundreds of small attack drones that overwhelmed alien defenses by sheer numbers. All drone carriers, release everything you have, Kate ordered on the 3rd day of battle. Thousands of small drones swarmed toward the alien fleet like angry metal insects. Each drone carried a small warhead, but together they were devastating. The alien ships could not shoot them all down. General, Zixnal watched his fleet being torn apart by tiny human machines and realized he had lost. For the first time in 3,000 years, a hegemony fleet was defeated in open battle. "All ships retreat," he ordered. "Fall back to home territories." But the retreat became a disaster. Human ships with their new fast engines chased the fleeing. Aliens destroying many more ships before they could escape. The victory at Vega changed everything. Across the galaxy, species that had been conquered by the hegemony heard the news and started to hope. Some began open rebellions against their hegemony governors. On the hegemony capital world, Chancellor Vextar faced the worst crisis in his empire's history. 12 different species were questioning his leadership. Several worlds were in open revolt, and somehow a single species that no one had heard of 6 months ago was winning a war against his mighty fleet. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his advisors. "We have ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. High Priest Mordak, his oldest advisor, spoke carefully. "Your Excellence, perhaps we underestimated these humans. They fight not just for victory, but for something they call freedom." Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E.S. Defiance and looked at the largest human fleet ever assembled. 200 ships floated in formation around him, ready for the final push. Today, humanity would stop defending and start attacking. Operation Liberation begins now, Morrison announced to his fleet. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting to free every world the hegemony has enslaved for 3,000 years." General Amy Johnson commanded the first Liberation Fleet from her flagship U.E.S. Freedom. Her target was the most important world in hegemony space, Keth Prime, the original home planet of the species that had started the Empire. "All ships, prepare for jump," Amy ordered. "Remember, this isn't about revenge. This is about justice." The human fleet disappeared in flashes of light as their new jump drives carried them across the galaxy in seconds. Dr. Rodriguez's team had improved the alien travel technology, making it faster and more reliable than anything the hegemony had. On Keth Prime, General Moxlar watched his defense screens with growing panic. Hundreds of human ships were appearing around his planet. He had thought Keth Prime was safe, protected by distance and powerful weapons. He was wrong. "All defense platforms, open fire," he ordered. "Protect the homeworld at all costs." The battle for Keth Prime was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Troy Adams led the attack in his ship U.E.S. Vengeance, diving through enemy fire like a metal bird of prey. Around him, human ships moved in perfect coordination, each one knowing exactly what the others would do. Target their orbital. Weapons first. Troy ordered his fleet. Clear the way for the ground assault teams. The human attack was devastating. Their new weapons could adapt to any defense the aliens tried. When the Keth changed their shield frequencies, human computers automatically adjusted the weapons to match. When they tried to jam human communications, the quantum system switched to frequencies the aliens couldn't block. Troy's ship fired a salvo of hybrid missiles at the largest defense platform. The missiles split apart as they flew, each piece targeting a different part of the station. The platform exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from the planet's surface. "This is impossible," General Moxlar whispered as he watched his defenses crumble. How did they get so strong so fast? The answer was simple. Humans had learned from every battle, improved after every defeat, and adapted faster than their enemies could respond. They had turned the hegemony's own technology against them and made it better. The siege of Keth Prime lasted 3 weeks. Every day, more human ships arrived to join the attack. Every day, more Keth defenders surrendered. The sight of their homeworld under attack broke the spirit of Keth forces across the galaxy. Captain Bruce Martinez's intelligence teams intercepted communications from 12 different Keth colonies. All of them were abandoning their loyalty to the Hegemony Empire and asking for peace with the humans. Admiral Morrison, Roos reported over the communication link. We're getting surrender requests from Keth worlds we haven't even attacked yet. The fall of Keth Prime is causing a complete collapse of their will to fight. Morrison nodded with satisfaction. This was exactly what he had hoped for. Fear had held the hegemony together for 3,000 years. Now that fear was working against them. While the military fought battles, Dr. Rodriguez led a different kind of mission. She traveled to the hegemony capital world of Supreme Prime with a team of diplomats. Their job was to convince species to leave the Empire before it collapsed completely. Ambassador Janet Gray worked with Dr. Rodriguez to meet leaders from different alien species. Many of them were tired of living under hegemony rule, but had been too afraid to rebel. The hegemony empire is finished, Dr. Rodriguez told a gathering of alien ambassadors. You can choose to go down with it, or you can choose freedom. Delegate Corthan of the Makari species stood up. His people had been enslaved by the hegemony for 800 years. How do we know you humans won't just become the new masters? Janet Gray answered with passion in her voice. Because we're not fighting to conquer anyone. We're fighting so that every species can rule themselves. We want partners, not slaves. What proof do we have? Asked another delegate. Dr. Rodriguez activated a holographic display showing the Zelani Confederation worlds. The Zelani are our allies, not our subjects. They govern themselves and make their own choices. That's what we offer to everyone. One by one, species began to withdraw from the Hegemony Alliance. The Torvan Republic pulled out first, followed by the Hexani Union and the Yarl Collective. Each departure weakened the Empire and strengthened the human cause. The war's final battle came when human scouts located Chancellor Vextar's personal fleet trying to escape to unexplored space. The hegemony leader was running away, abandoning the empire he had ruled for decades. Admiral Morrison himself led the pursuit. His fastest ships chased the fleeing Chancellor through 3 star systems before cornering him in the remote Sigma Draconis system. Chancellor Vextar, Morrison broadcast to the alien fleet. This ends now. Surrender, and your people will be treated fairly. Continue to run, and we will hunt you across the galaxy. On his flagship, Chancellor Vextar looked at the human ships surrounding him. They were smaller than his vessels, but somehow more dangerous. He could see the determination in their formation, the skill in their movement. Your Excellence, his aide whispered, our allies have all abandoned us. We are alone. Vextar felt 3,000 years of imperial pride crumble in his chest. The mighty hegemony, master of hundreds of worlds, had been destroyed by one species. Back refused to kneel. Open a channel to the human admiral, he said quietly. Admiral Morrison's face appeared on the screen. The human looked tired but victorious. Are you ready to surrender, Chancellor? I am, Vextar replied. The hegemony of Keth formally surrenders to the forces of Earth. Those words echoed across the galaxy. The empire that had ruled through fear and force for 3 millennia was finished. Across hundreds of worlds, beings who had lived their entire lives as slaves took their first breaths as free people. Dr. Allen Cooper later studied what the humans had accomplished. In less than 2 years, a single species had dismantled an empire that controlled over 300 worlds. They had done it not through cruelty or conquest, but through superior tactics, better technology, and an unshakable belief in freedom. The aftermath of the war transformed galactic civilization. Ambassador Janet Gray established the Galactic Liberation Council, a democratic alliance where every species had an equal voice. Former hegemony worlds joined freely, choosing cooperation over domination. President Clark spoke at the council's first meeting, held in a new station built in Earth orbit. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to write laws based on freedom and mutual respect. "We fought this war not to gain an empire," President Clark said, "but to prove that empires built on slavery and fear cannot last. Today, we start building something better together." 5 years after the war ended, Captain Troy Adams commanded a new kind of ship. The Hughes Harmony carried a crew of humans, Zelani, former hegemony species, and other aliens working together. Their mission was to explore unknown space and make contact with new civilizations. "Captain," his science officer called out. She was a Zelani named Solara, who had become one of Troy's most trusted crew members. "We're receiving a transmission from outside the galaxy." Troy looked at the message with curiosity, and then with growing anger. Another empire from a distant galaxy had heard about humanity's victory over the hegemony. They were demanding tribute from human colonies. They had recently contacted. Troy smiled and opened a response channel. His words carried the weight of humanity's proven strength and the support of dozens of allied species. "To whoever sent this message," Troy said, "humanity does not kneel, and neither do our friends. We suggest you reconsider your approach, because if you threaten any free world, you will face the combined fleets of the Galactic Liberation Council." He paused, and his smile became harder. "Ask the hegemony of Keth what happened to the last empire that tried to enslave us." "Oh wait, you can't. They don't exist anymore." Troy closed the transmission and turned to his mixed crew of humans and aliens. They were all smiling the same way he was. "Helm," Troy ordered, "set course for the new colonies. It looks like we have some new friends to protect, and maybe some old enemies to educate." The Hughes Harmony jumped faster than light speed, carrying the message that had echoed across the galaxy for 2 years. Humanity and its allies would bow to no one, and anyone who threatened freedom would learn why empires fall when they meet. People willing to die for what they believe in, not in the depths of space. Other empires received Troy's message and began to reconsider their plans. The age of galactic tyranny was over. The age of freedom had begun, protected by humans who had once been asked for tribute and had instead declared total war.